One of the hardest things as a data analyst and as a beginner in analysis is finding and understanding what you are expected to do when you're cleaning data and what not to do. So I got an idea from a YouTuber who technically was doing this in Excel. And I thought to myself, why don't I do it? So what we're going to do is you're going to have a walkthrough of how it feels like to be an analyst in a real job and what you're expected to do. So with a problem statement, you normally have a problem statement from stakeholders, and they tell you to kind of like give insights of what is happening with the data. So for example, for this analysis, you're going to look at a problem from an e-commerce company for gaming products, and we're going to have to know how we can optimize they want to know how they can optimize their e-commerce strategy across marketing operations and customer experience to drive sustainable revenue growth and improve profitability from dataset from 2019 to 2025 insights into 2026 planning. So once you have this kind of question, you normally want to have other similar questions that like follow-up questions, like example, you might ask them, is this about growth? Are you looking into understanding if we are growing or something? You can just have input on that. Have you been growing? Have you not been growing? So from that, you can go ahead and ask for the data or source the data from the teams. And then you can try to have an overview of the data set. Example, here we have a data set of 100K records from this company. And if we go through this first order, we have order number 1 with a product ID of 106. It's an extra storage bought by a Middle East customer. Country is in UAE. It was through a partner channel, and the platform was Walmart. And we don't have really have information of the account method creation. And then the timestamp purchase was 7/14/2023, created on 7/2023. Shipping time was that, delivery was that, refund was none. And then we have a user ID of that and USD. The money is in USD, and $76 was the price. So when you have such a run through, you kind of like have related to the question that you have. So for example, here they want to know how they can optimize their e-commerce strategy across marketing and customer experience to drive sustainable revenue growth. So for them, it's about revenue growth. So, and it's in 2019 to 2025, etc. So you understand that our main focus is the purchase column and the local price is what we're going to focus on. So you kind of have like a glimpse of what you're going to do. Yes, you can have augmentation of these and add these two columns, group them together, and have a timestamp, time to ship column. But also you can look at the region and then what product has been bought more, etc. Now the next part is cleaning the data. So from what we can see here, we have non-values. We need to look at how much numbers were missing, values were there that we need to kind of fill with what is the percentage acceptable to be filled, is it not acceptable. we can have the timestamp. You see we have the date and the time, and the format is kind of different here. So we'll also look at that. We have a negative for the price. We have naming inconsistency as well. PS5 and PS5 kind of thing. And then we have Shopify and Shopify with a capital letter. So these are things that you kind of like have to look at before you can go ahead. So one thing that we've noted is our data needs a bit of cleaning. We have inconsistency, we have blanks, we have outliers, we have spaces, and we have anomalies for our values. So we're going to use the Y data profiling. This is a library in Python that you use to kind of have like a glimpse of the data and what you expected to see and have a feel like you just look at a run through of it. So when you come to the overview and statistics of our data, we have 16 columns, 100k records. Cells that are missing is 100, almost 140k. Duplicated rows, we have 4 text columns, 6 categorical columns, 5 data time, then 1 numeric, so I'm guessing instead is the price. So from that you can be able to, they give you like just something to view your data set, and for each column, for example here we can look at, let's see the price, so from here you can see the minimum is negative 42 4k, which is a bit interesting. So we need to go back and understand, is this about refunds, is this about deductions or anything, or discounts? And the maximum number is 99k for a game product. That is a bit weird. So we will have to go back and answer these questions, have answers for these questions from the department that is directly involved. And you can actually see we have a missing percentage of 1.3, which is not a bit that much, but we can look at other alternatives to kind of fill these columns, or just ignore them since it's analysis and it's not data science. Let's have a look at the purchase timestamp. So from here you can see invalid data of 99k, which is worrisome, and the times stamp are kind of interesting here. We'll have to look at that as well. The number of missing data is not that much, and yeah, so we'll have to look at the inconsistency in naming, etc. Let's have a look at something else. The country code. One more thing we have not looked at in the time purchase. The correlation. So Y data profiling gives you like a run through and a summary of the correlation of each column, and for this you can clearly see that there's no way we have 100% correlation, and if you've done data science you kind of know this data is very unclean and needs to be done a few things on it. So let's go ahead and look at what was it region? Because we can look at country overviews. So from here, you can see we have Mexico, and we have Mexico here, MX for Mexico and Mexico here. We have states and United as different, Kingdom and United as different, SG in Singapore. SG is just Singapore. So we have inconsistencies in naming, so we'll have to map these columns as well. When you look at, say if region is the same thing. So for region you have some missing, which is not also a big percentage. Say content creation method. So for that we're okay. But we have a missing percentage of 15%. So we will have to fill that with something. Now, after you have seen what your data looks like and have a feel of the data, you can go ahead and just already what we had documented on inconsistency, the blanks, the outliers, the negatives, the spaces and the anomalies. And then for the next page, you decide on what you're going to do. So for this, we're going to use a function, a cleaner function, a class cleaner with functions. And we are going to do each section for each problem. We are going to have a map for product name, and we are going to have a country code for region and count creation, which we're going to fill with unknown. And then we are going to map it with US, etc. So going through this, we initialize our file and read it in Pandas, and then we're going to strip and kind of name all the columns in uppercase, and then we're going to write functions and maps. So for product name, we have all this to kind of give it a similar name. So for PS5 and it's PlayStation 5 is PlayStation. So generally that is what we're going to do for each and every name that we have gotten. And we're going to replace that in a new column called product name claim, and then just the mapping. For the country code and region is basically the same thing. We're going to fill it with unknown, and then currency we're going to map it with USD, and the country code we are going to have it as follows. For US we're going to have United States. For USA we're going to have United States. We're going to have United States just to be sure, etc. For all those things, replace it with the map. For the IDs, we are going to fill the odd ID with missing. For the product, we are going to have an aggregation by grouping this with a product name that was clean. So technically what this means is we are going to go into this column name, check for that order number. If it is similar, we are going to fill the product ID with this order number product name, and then we are going to have it in a new column. Okay, so for the user ID, we are going to have a guest user as a field for the null values, and then for the product pricing filter, we are going to have to do something called filtering, where we have anything that is less than $1 and anything that is above 5K, we cut it out and forward this information to relevant department for more information about it. And then we're going to have it in a new price screen and a new for the minimum value of the price numeric, etc. Now for the biggest section here, we are going to have like a function for timestamps. So for all the columns that are timestamps, we're going to have somewhere to store them, and then strip the first 10 characters, and then for the date columns, we're going to change it into a series and here, and then just do a for information and information for all the values that we saw. If we have a y and a negative kind of representation of a date, we literally need to force it to be date time, as well as if you have a name and a stroke, we force it to be a date time. And then just replace it with month and day and year as a representation, and fill anything that is null with an A. And then we're going to do some augmentation. So remember, our question is about revenue trend, and therefore for this particular question we're going to focus on two columns, the purchase timestamp and the price column. So for this we're going to have to divide our purchase timestamp with purchase year, month, quarter, day, and we also have month and weekend that the product was bought. We could also have something to do with time of shipping, where we have the purchase timestamp. You subtract from the shipping timestamp. You get how many days it took for the product to arrive to its destination. And then let's go ahead and run all this and call our class run all and just read it in a new CSV. Read our call our CSV or read it where after we've outputted the path and created a new data frame, a new file for it. So from that you see that we have all the numbers in uppercase. We have new columns and we have new columns names, and for anything that didn't have anything has been named to null value, which is what we need. Now we could go ahead and go to Excel and see what we can also do there. We'll do this in Excel. Going to do this in Excel, just practice. So purchase is minus ship. Time to ship, and then the formula is equals to this minus that. Yeah, so this just means we have blank here. You can go ahead and just clean it out.